Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Full-Time Sports Network's Cop Talk. Only place to be on a Thursday night at 10 o'clock. We've done already. I just want to say, before we do continue, I'll say my hellos. I want to say a big thank you, gents, for last week. Wasn't available, but the guys kept the show right. As they say, the show must go on.
Definitely.
Did us proud as they do. You know what I mean? I wish our bench could be like that, lads. You know what I mean? Our bench could be like that. So good evening, my brother Stoney. How are we doing?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. I'm good. Just looking forward to this evening's show, but I'm good.
Brilliant. Preds, my bro, how we doing, man?
I'm good, mate, and all the better for seeing you, my old China. So welcome back.
Lovely. And hopefully we will get to Brees, and we know he's on his way from work. So hopefully we'll get to Brees soon. Oh, good evening, Mr. B. Nice to have you, mate. He started already. Good evening, Europers. All right. You not had enough experience with that anyway. Yeah.
Good.
And you didn't win it, did you? You remember that? Yeah. So put that in your pipe. Anyway, gentlemen, we will start with our final game of the season. It's against Southampton. Ready, bottom of the league. And I'll be honest with you, as I was saying to Stoney, I thought that they are going to try and give us a game. You know, they want to get up a bit of pride. You know what I mean? They've been relegated already, so they're going to give us a bit of game. But I still expected us to win. Then I saw our lineup, and I thought, oh, it's going to be a bit touch and go, but I still expected us to win. What happened, man? Were they on holiday already, you reckon?
I don't think there should have been any excuse for the performance we actually put in personally, Artie. I think the squad of players that were picked in the last game, they've been in and around the squad for the majority of this season, yeah? So obviously we had a replacement goalie, we had Keller in there. We had Matip had an opportunity to come back and play. So did Gomez. We had Simicast there.
Mm-hmm.
Milner had a chance to obviously start the game as well, and obviously Bobby did as well.
Yeah.
But our defense, the defensive side of it, it was woeful. It was woeful. I think even if the players that Klopp picked hadn't been playing regularly, right, they would have been part of all of the tactical play out on the pitch. They would have been part of all of the planning and preparation with all of our technical staff, wherever they have it at our training ground. They would have been aware of how Klopp wanted us to play. And yes, it was the last game of the season, but at least go out on a bang, man.
Yeah.
But it was horrible, absolutely horrible. What's the young player before we came on air?
Was it Soleimani?
Yeah, Suleiman. Oh my goodness, he was playing like prime Yaya Toure against us. Just absolutely carving us through like butter through, you know what I mean, like a knife through butter.
Yeah.
Livia played quite good as well. I think it was the only time that I had an opportunity to watch Lavia play for Southampton. And what was his name that actually came? Was it Livramento? Does he still play for Chelsea, or did Southampton actually buy him? He actually came.
I think they bought him, and he got injured early in the season.
They bought him, all right. So it was good to see Livramento obviously get a game there as well. But yeah, we just that wasn't nice. It really wasn't nice. And sorry, I do apologize. These are meant to be players that are either meant to be first team players or players that will form part of our squad. All right. And those are players that will form part of our squad moving into next season. Though that may actually be the team that we actually put out in some of our Europa games for next season as well. And if that's the case, then let's pack our bags nice and early.
Yeah.
So not a good way to end the season, RT. Not a good way at all.
No, it wasn't. Well, good evening, Mr. Amonde Juma from the Man United Agenda. He says, good evening, panel. Hope all is well. Europa League qualification ain't that bad, but what a comedy of errors in defence versus Southampton. Yeah. Preds, what was your take on it then?
I think first and foremost, Sadio Mane must have given a little tinkle to what's his name, Salah Mane, and said, "Listen, bruv,
Yeah.
if you rip it up, you'll be at Anfield next season." Because that's exactly what he done. That's what Mane done. He smashed us. But on a serious level of it, last week you weren't there, right? So I'll absolve you from this. But other panelists were saying that we should bring out the young, well, the potential and what we're going to go with next season, X, Y, and Z. And I said we need to bring out the strongest possible side to just go out there and finish with a bang. All right. All it's told me is that the reason why we've struggled this season when our better players are not playing is that our squad players are simply not good enough. Gomez, not good enough. Like Gomez got torn a new one, and I think he's climbing out of Solomon's pocket right about now. Still, Matip looked at four. Matip looked at he just looked erratic and just he looked like the first time when he first came to Liverpool. He's a little bit shaky, a little bit erratic. But when he's been there for so many years and the age he's out, you'd expect him to kind of take control of that back four, or back three at sometimes. Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't good. And you can kind of see from Klopp's body language that it was embarrassing to go to Southampton and draw 3-3 to a team who have been relegated for weeks now. 4-4, sorry, 4-4, and to play like that against a team that's been relegated. I even started getting vexed at the Southampton players. Why didn't you play like this halfway through the season? Like, what's going on? You are frauds. But really and truly,
I'm telling you know what it is? They want to go out with a bit of pride. That's what. Come on, man. Last game of the season, they want to go.
Yeah, but that just tells me that the players are frauds, mate. Like, you know what I mean? They turn up for the last game of the season because it's a good old farewell. Listen, mate, you're professional footballers, and simply they weren't good enough to maintain their position in the Premier League. And we and Liverpool Football Club should have took them to the sword and said, you know what, have that. We're going to keep on. We're going to keep it moving.
Yeah, I agree with you on that as well, Prez, because I think regardless of whether Southampton would have lost, they would have remained in the same position. Whether we had lost, we would remain in the same league position. Whether we had won, we would have, and vice versa with Southampton. But you're right, it is about putting in a proper performance. And as Pred said, it was just woeful. It was shambolic, I think, from the only word I can think of.
Pred's going to pick up on something that you said about Gomez not being good enough. Do you think that that's a fair assessment, or do you think that, like Curtis Jones, he needs a run of games to start showing how good he can be? Because we've all seen it before, so you can't tell me that he's just gone to pot. We've all seen before how good he can be. Curtis Jones, everybody was running Curtis Jones. Remember when KV was on there, calling him the stripper and all sorts? Now he's had a run of games. All of a sudden, you can see he's feeling more comfortable. He's starting to produce.
Yeah, my response to that is that Klopp must have seen something that Jones was doing in training a lot earlier than what Gomez has been doing, because it's not just about, obviously it's about game performances, but Jones must have, looking from outside in, the light bulb moment must have come on, and he's been training like he's been putting up trees in training. Where in regards to that, Gomez, is he putting up trees? Is he actually doing his training performance is good enough? And his performance, I know what you're saying about having a run of games, but his defensive performance, along with Matip, he's not by himself, by the way, was despicable. Too experienced. Gomez is experienced now. He's not a youngster. He's a senior member of that squad. He should be asserting himself. He should be keeping himself ready for when he's called upon. And simply didn't get that. And if Gomez gets sold, which I have very highly doubt he will, I wouldn't be surprised. But you're right. He might have run the games.
What's your take, Stoney?
Yeah, I think Gomez is. I think unfortunately he's actually showed he's always going to be a squad player for us. He's 26 now. I mean, he did have a couple of seasons ago when the partnership with him and Van Dijk was solid. Rich Rayner form, every game he played, you know, he's getting 7.5. So he was all right. He's obviously had the injury. He's been out, attempted to get back in, but I think we've probably seen the best of Gomez. He will now be a squad player, and I do actually feel that. I don't think he's been able to demonstrate anything where he's going to be able to command being pushing for that first team position, whether that's whether that's alongside Van Dijk or whether that's alongside Ibrahima. He's just going to be a squad player. And don't get me wrong, teams actually need squad players, but you know, he's 26, and I think we've seen the best of him.
You've got to be honest. Kanate's only going to get better. Like I know he's making odd mistakes, and you know, when you're coaching and you see players with potential, with all players, you've got to allow young players to make mistakes. They're going to make mistakes, but Kanate, that's how they learn. And Kanate's making those mistakes, but he looks like he's learning from mistakes, and he seems like his performance levels are getting better. And I think with that partnership with VVD, then it's only going to get better. But then it's dependent on whether Liverpool are fishing around for a new centre half. But we'll leave that chat for later.
Yeah, we definitely will. We definitely will. Oh my days!
I mean, didn't Gomez sign a new contract as well? Was it last year or the year before? I think it was.
Yeah,
he
I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think he had signed a new contract, didn't he? So
yeah. But I'll give him
from Newcastle from him.
Yeah.
Okay. At one point, Newcastle actually wanted him, and Klopp refused. So,
well, as you said, we're playing in Europe, so we're going to we'll need a bigger squad. So.
Yeah, definitely. So, gentlemen, were you happy then that we made Europa, or would you prefer to miss out on it?
I'm going to be honest. I know anybody can go back and watch previous shows when we were battling in 9th place. I'd actually said at that time, you know what, we're definitely not going to qualify for the Champions League. So it's before we put all of this run together, before we made the adjustment in the formation with Trent playing more centrally. I had already said to myself, 9th is the best that we're going to get. And then we started putting that run together. And even though we were putting it together, I still didn't even think that we'd be in a position to get 5th place. So for me, we haven't made the Champions League. We've made Europa, which is better than the Europa Conference Cup. So we just have to relish it and go and win it. So yeah, it's either the Champions League or nothing for me. But we're in Europa, so we'll see where that takes us.
11 games unbeaten. To get there,
and that could have been so close. Artie, if we had managed to, I mean, what was the score against Villa? We drew against them, didn't they?
1-1.
1-1. So imagine if we'd beaten them, they'd given us the extra 2 points, and there was a couple games before that, if we had got the win before the draw. So look, we could have ended up being on the same amount of points as Newcastle or Man United, and we'd have been that close. But look, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Yeah, we didn't do it. But as you said, the run that we put, as you said, those 11 games unbeaten, I did not envisage that one bit.
Nah, I don't think anybody did. What's your thoughts on Europa, Pretz?
Hey, listen, I think there's a lot of teams who would bite our hands off to be in that competition. And I think we've got to be humble enough to think, we want to compete at the most elite competition, but we simply haven't been good enough this season to earn that right to good, And when you're talking about fine margins and great run that we put together, but then when you're talking about defeats against Brentford, Brighton, Nottingham Forest, that's 6 points there already. I'm not saying that Brentford Leeds, right? I'm not saying that we have a divine right to go and win those games, but if you look at those 4 games, that's 12 points there. And in previous seasons, we were winning those games.
Yeah.
So Yeah, so that's the difference. Like, yes, it's overjoyed that we've got into a European competition because I think still got to keep things ticking over. We've still got to, even though we're the biggest, one of the biggest clubs in the world, we're still renowned for, competing in Europe. So it is what it is. And like Stoney said, I think we've just got to have the bullish attitude of, right, we're in it, so let's go and win it.
I fully agree with that. I say, you know what, we're there, so let's go out and do it and do the best with it, man. We should be going there looking to get to the final and win this thing.
Yeah.
Did you watch the game yesterday? The final?
Roma Sevilla.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
Absolute
it was woeful.
disgrace.
I'm not a great fan of Mourinho, man. I'm not a great fan of.
No,
I know he.
Disgrace of a match, man. Disgraceful.
It is. You if as Prez, you were mentioning that you're not a fan of Mourinho. I think me watching that game, I think Mourinho has demonstrated that he's a cup manager. I don't envisage him winning a league again in one of the major countries wherever that he actually goes to. But Roma were absolutely woeful the way they played yesterday. I was in disbelief. Now I'm not saying that I've watched a lot of Italian football this season. What I will say is when Napoli, when it became clear that they were in a position to actually win Serie A, I managed to watch quite a lot of their games as well, coming to the latter stages. But Roma, I couldn't understand what Mourinho wanted them to do. I mean, that the extra time was all about time wasting, and Mourinho wanted to come in, engage with Sevilla's bench and all of the officials. I shouldn't say I'm in disbelief because obviously he's an experienced manager. He's aware of all of the dark arts and what he has to do to get to that position. But it was a very bizarre.
You wait for a look at him because he approached Anthony Taylor in the car park after the game.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
afterwards in the car park.
He verbally abused him in the car park after the game as well. Told him and calling him a disgrace.
Yeah.
He really needs to look in the mirror.
It wouldn't surprise me if Mourinho moved on again from Roma, though.
His behavior, and for me, both teams' behavior was despicable. The diving, every time the referee blew the whistle, the way they surrounded the ref, it was just unbelievable.
Yeah,
I can't remember seeing a game like it. It was terrible.
Even when they had the when it went to the penalty shootout, the last penalty and the VAR situation when the ref went back to look. As you said, the amount of players that were around the ref. I mean, there's two sides of it. You may say that the ref may have lost control. I don't think he did. I think both groups of players and coaching staff were just on him from the off. I don't know how they expect officials to actually want to be involved in football if that's the way that clubs are going to behave.
It sounds
not good. Not good.
It sounds like these two teams, because to be fair, I'm not a great fan of Mourinho. I think he's personality wise and the character wise, I think he's brilliant as a character. In regards to his philosophy of football, right? His football last night resembled that of like a championship side. Like, let's get the ball forward as quick as possible, and then we'll go and run. And it was just, but you got two teams who are trying to win a football match with non-footballing tactics.
Yeah, I think you've hit that on a nail on the head there as well, President. He said it's meant to be a showcase. It's meant to be a final. I mean, that game was being aired free on YouTube last night, so they would have had so much more
viewers,
viewers and stuff like that. But that wasn't a good.
No, it wasn't a good advert. That wasn't a good advert. No, terrible.
Not one bit.
Terrible. Oh boy.
Well, hopefully we can be in the final next season and then
stay away from Sevilla.
Yeah, stay away from Sevilla though. I think these boys now to win this competition, man. 7 times.
Amazing.
7 times, man. But yeah, I was glad that they won it anyway. I was glad. Because as you said, I weren't happy with Mourinho and his behavior and that. Weren't happy with that at all. It was disgraceful, I must say. So, gentlemen, moving on. This season, what has been your most memorable game involving Liverpool? The most memorable game.
I wish you give us I wish you give us a heads up for these things here, because
no, that's the whole point.
Well, I tell you what, there's been a lot. I think the most memorable game, and obviously going to go down in Liverpool history and Manchester United history. Good evening, on Monday, and good evening, Mr. B. It has to be on Sunday, the 5th of March at 4:30, when we gave Manchester United a miracle and we put 7 goals past them. So I think that's probably going to be, one of the highlights.
It was one of those like Paul McGrath, Alex Ferguson, David Beckham, Eric Cantona, Phil Neville, Peter Schmeichel. Your boys took a hell of a beating.
You mean? Yes, man. Definitely now. 100%. That's got to be mine. 100%. 100%. It's got to be. Got to be mine, man.
Oh,
and is
mate.
the same for you, Preds?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If we're going to take anything away from this season, all right, yeah, they're finished above us and everything, but they can't take away the result. They cannot take away that result. That result will go down in history.
And we beat them on aggregate too.
Yes.
Because they only beat us 2-1.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that one game outweighs the whole thing. It outweighs it all. Like it goes
down in the history books, man. That's
why it goes down in the history books, mate. Like that's just a one in a kind. So yeah, that will be definitely my game. I mean, I got my highlight.
Okay. And what's right? So, what's your best goal of the season by a Liverpool player?
Oh my God, that's gonna be hard. I think Gakpo scored some nice goals for us this season. I've been quite impressed with Gakpo. I mean, if we're looking at sentimental goals, then for me it has to be Bobby's. Not against Southampton, but the game before when Bobby came on and scored
at Villa.
The last goal was played at Anfield.
Yeah.
So yeah, the memorable that will be for me. That I think that touched me actually. So yeah, I like that.
It was quite fitting that he scored then for me. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say that I remember what game it was. Curtis Jones when he scored the brace.
Listen, I was just going to get
that was nice. Yeah,
Curtis Jones when he scored the brace.
Yeah, it was
the second one. What he panged in the top with.
Yeah, that was nice, goal. Man. So
big boy.
But yeah, there's been a few, but as before we came on here, I was mentioning that this season has seemed very, very, very long. I don't know whether it was because we had the break for the World Cup, but there has been so many games this season, so many games of importance. But yeah, those were important. And also I think when we beat Salah scored against Man City when we beat them 1-0 as well. That game was quite important for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's been some good goals. Definitely been some good goals.
Hey, that was a big goal, actually. Yes.
Yeah.
That was a big goal for real.
Man City that was a big performance. As well. Yeah.
A big team performance. By the way.
Yeah, some good goals there, man.
Yeah, I like Nunez's goal. Nunez's goal against Fulham. Remember his little cheeky back heel.
Cheeky back heel.
Yeah.
But then he went and got sent off.
Okay, I should have thought about that one.
Yeah.
Diaz's goal when he went past was it Crystal Palace, and he cut in from the left hand side, went across the box, and then hit top corner.
Yeah, big goal.
Yeah, some big goal there. Oh mate, how many more are there?
There's been a few. There's been a few.
There's been a few. Even Jota's goal on Saturday against Southampton, hit it with the outside of his foot, and it's just swerved away from the goalkeeper. To be fair, you remember Trent's goal against Bournemouth?
Yes.
So we've scored goals and we've shown that we can create goals. We just need to do it on a consistent basis, but we need to also defend better. But I think we already know that the midfield we didn't get enough goals from midfield.
Yeah, that's true.
Which Curtis Jones You know, he started chipping in towards the end of the season. But you know, we can say about Mo Salah and the forwards, but you know, a few goals here and there from the midfield wouldn't go amiss.
Good evening, Billy Smith. Nice to have you on board, sir.
Oi, oi, Billy boy.
Oi. Billy, type in the comments and let us know what's your predictions for Chelsea for next season. Yeah, let's see. Let's see what your predictions are for Chelsea for next season, because I ain't gonna lie, they got some players there. They got Nkunku coming as well. They got Poch now. Let's see what happens. And you know what? To be fair, they've done well. They've got him in early now, so you can start setting things in place. So by the start of the season, they're supposed to be ready. I don't want to hear no excuses. They should be ready. They should be ready to go. Right. So, oh my God, is he serious? Everybody's gonna laugh, but I say first.
Serious ballers incoming.
That's good.
Apparently, you got about 45 serious ballers in the squad already. Yeah.
Good. That's good.
They have, mate. They have.
Optimistic. I think that will be. Obviously, we know Chelsea's squad's massive. They will be purchasing more players. I think it's clear.
They are looking to purchase more players as well.
Yeah. So I think it will be interesting to actually see how Poch is able to manage that, bearing in mind that he's never actually won a major title. So him, even though, Chelsea are highly decorated with all of the players, he's still going to be up against, and I'm not discarding what Chelsea are going to be able to do. He's going to be up against Man City. He's going to be up against Liverpool. He's going to be up against
Arsenal,
Newcastle.
Yeah, but you got to be honest. Look at the if you put the players' names on a team sheet, on a sheet of paper, and put their squad, that's good enough to go and win the Champions League, let alone the Premier League. Like, I think Poch is going to go in there. He's going to have his one or two players he's going to bring in, but they've got to get rid of players because the financial fair play, they're going to plummet. They're not going to hit that target.
I know that Kovacevic is might be going City.
Yeah,
they're on him, and
Loftus-Cheek's going Milan. So that's
two.
What's his name? João Felix is going back to Atletico.
Yeah, João Felix is going back.
Mason Mount is probably going to be going to Manchester United.
That's 41 players now.
What's his name? Ziyech was meant to have gone Paris Saint-Germain already.
Yeah, so he might be another one.
And Bang Young's going to go back to Barcelona.
Who?
And Bang Young's going to go back to Barcelona.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Lukaku. We have no idea whether he's going to come back.
Right. So the numbers just gone back. The numbers, but how many players have they got on loan? They've you just mentioned
another 2 million as well.
About 2 million on loan.
Yeah.
We need to clear some deadwood, and by deadwood I mean 20 players.
Yeah, that's a squad. That's a squad of players.
Not financial backing. He says we have that.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, on Cop Talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to this one then. Liverpool's player of the season.
So this is interesting, right? This is really interesting. I haven't got the stats in front of me, so anybody in the chat can probably pull them up, or Preds or Artie, you probably know these already. Salah's obviously broken numbers again. So he hasn't probably had the best season by Salah's own levels and probably what we actually expect of him, but he's broken more levels again there. Trent's had a really good second half of the season. I thought Stefan had a good start at the beginning of the season. Gapco, since he's coming at Christmas, I think he's played well. I'd scratch my head to think Liverpool's player of the season. If you're looking for somebody who's played consistent but not amazing, Alisson's played all right in goal, but I wouldn't necessarily say he's been player of the season. But I don't know. I'm definitely clutching at straws here. Not sure on that one.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, Fritz.
I'm not sure.
Me, well, I think to be fair, if anyone knows me on air, they will know who I'm going to pick, and that's going to be Yali, mate.
Mm.
He is, if anything, the shining light, the only shining light on a very piss poor season. And yeah, Ali deserves it hands down. Excuse the pun.
Hands down.
Mm.
See, Billy agrees with you. Says Ali, Potts for Liverpool, most consistent player.
Yeah.
That's the one I have to give it to. You know, I'd have to agree as well. I'd have to say most consistent player, and he saved us certain times, man. Some big saves, man. Seriously, he has saved us. And for me,
Yeah.
level of consistency right throughout the season, I've got to give it to Alisson. 100%. Have to give it to Alisson.
Yeah, I think that'll be definitely hard to disagree with you on that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Worst player of the season then.
Ali.
Worst player. So this has to be somebody who's actually played a series of games for us to say.
You're gonna give it to Arthur Melo.
He's 33 minutes. He's that whole thing has irked me there really, because we were in desperate need of a midfielder. And then we brought in a player that was more injured than
the ones we already
had there. You know what I mean? So I think that was extremely disheartening. But if we're looking at players that were probably played 10 games plus that didn't really have an impact, I don't know. We've just been so average this season. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know with that one.
Preds.
Well, when he played on the odd occasion, Naby. Tsimikas is closely second, by the way, with his performances this season. Yeah, Tsimikas has not been great, mate. And
early on though, he had some quality, he had some master performances.
Yeah, but I'm going on. You're only good as the last performance, and he was woeful in his last performance.
No, it's actually called worst player of the season, not of your last performance, bro.
Well, like I said, if he played more games, then yeah, he'll definitely be in the running for that. But yeah, worst player. Oh, mate. Yeah, I'd say Naby Keita, mate. And he didn't even play that. He didn't even play that well. Oh, he didn't even play that many games.
Yeah, because I know what you mean. You want players, if they start or if they come on, you want them to have an impact, or for them to make a contribution. And I think when he played, you could almost forget that he was playing. He was just literally going through the motions. And I think if you're playing for Liverpool, regardless of whether he was going to be moving on, still make a good account for yourself. And yeah, that wasn't good. Definitely wasn't good.
So Billy says Fabinho, for me, I think he has looked so off the mark when I've watched him. Clunky, seemed to panic and put other LFC players in tricky situations with some poor passes.
I think Billy, that could have been any of the Liverpool players, that statement, not just Fabinho. Honestly.
Yeah.
But I think he had a bad patch.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the season again, them last like 11, 12 games or so, he fixed up.
Yeah.
And he looked like the Fabinho of old a bit.
Yeah, that's the point I was going to make, to be fair. I think Billy's probably hit the nail on the head prior to that 11-match run. But then it's about confidence. Is he a bad player overnight, or is it just because they're going for a bad patch, which affects confidence? And then all of a sudden the players found confidence from somewhere and went on this run. So Fabinho, a bit harsh. prior to the 11 games. Sorry, spot on before the 11 games. Asked for the last 11.
And Nick Ford, could you type that one in English for me, please? I have no idea what that one is, man.
Is that the new shorthand?
Okay. Yeah, that's right. I did say the whole season, not the last 11 games. Exactly. So he had a bad patch, but then he came good.
So you worry about your 50 players you got to get rid of. So, gentlemen. What's Mr. Ford said?
They're talk.
Sorry, go on. Sorry, I was talking.
Oh, well, there we are. I was just going to get to that, actually. That was my next talk, anyway. So, McAllister, Thuram, and possibly Kone, if even 2 of them 3 happens, it's all over for the rest of the teams, and we'll be challenging City again. I'm not sure about that. I think we might need a little bit more than that, to be honest.
I think we still need
at least 2 of them and a centre back. And then I think we could be in business, because for me, scoring goals has never really been our issue. So I'm not worried about that. But I think what's been our issue of lately has been winning the ball back and defending. That has been the issue. So I think if we can put that right, I think that's when we'll be in a good place again.
Yeah.
We'll be in a good place again. But like you just said as well, when you was talking to Thing just a minute ago, we will all now still be contending with Newcastle added into the mix, as well. Because they're going to be purchasing for more players, and they've got a solid team. Not stars, they've got a solid team, and I rate that more than anything, because when you've got stars, you look to your stars, and if your stars ain't performing, then you struggle. But they've got a solid team. So yeah, they're going to be very dangerous and one to watch out for.
Yeah. Next season on the whole, I think is going to be, as you said, much stronger as well. I think Brighton's going to be set. I'm not saying they're going to be pushing for the league, right? But Brighton are going to be much stronger as well. I can see Villa being more settled underneath their new manager as well. So, the teams that were perceived as being pushovers, where you think you're going to be getting the points from, it clearly showed this season, and not just against Liverpool, but teams are going to be out there fighting to get points. I mean, I'm sure Fulham are going to be a much stronger outfit next season as well. So it's the Premiership's going to be interesting. Very interesting.
And I'll tell you what, it's not even about, like, when you look at teams like Brighton, it's not even like, can they attract big players, because their scouting
is amazing.
They don't buy big players.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you who I do like the look of, is that Ferguson.
The striker, the young striker.
That young boy there, he knows where the back of the net is, mate.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Who's that? The Brighton lad,
Yeah, that young boy there. I can see big things for him, mate. I can definitely see big things for him. So these are the things that we're going to have to contend with. So definitely for me, as Nick is saying, Pavard, who plays right back and centre back, is in the mix.
Is that the Pavard? Is that the French? Right?
Yeah,
back?
From Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Right back, centre half.
Yeah, we're looking at him as well. So it's another one with our new, sporting director coming in.
Yeah.
On the march already. You know what I mean? Feeding out some targets. I want this.
Hopefully they act quickly.
Yeah, I want this business done early, man. I want it done early. Get them in early so they can settle in, and we're ready to go. Definitely ready to go. But mind you, I must say, I think we've been linked with everybody there, Dog, the tea lady, everybody. The amount of things I see coming through is just unbelievable.
I think the only plus point is bar the Callister with obviously the 70 million, the proposed £70 million outlet. The other players that we have been linked with in football terms, the fees seem realistic for us to be able to actually be able to purchase them. So as you said with Thuram, with Kone there, I think there's a centre back for Wolfsburg.
Van de Ven,
centre back or left back as well. So the prices have been
Reasonable.
Reasonable. In
I
football
heard
terms.
that there's McAllister's got something in there where it's meant to be about 52 mil. I heard it's not meant to be that much as what there's previously quoted, like the 60 or 65. It's meant to be about 52.
Okay.
Some kind of release clause that he's got meant to be 52 mil. So that's even better business. If that's true, then that's even better business for me. But are you happy with McAllister, gentlemen?
I think I've mentioned it on previous shows. I think the plus point that we may have with McAllister is he can play a series of different roles in midfield, and I think that will benefit us. So he can play the number 6. He can play either side of the number 8s. If we play in a 2, I mean, this season we played 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. A couple of games we played 4-4-2. So I think whatever formation Klopp decides Liverpool to play, McAllister has obviously demonstrated that he can make an adjustment, and this is based on his performances for Brighton. I'm not going to talk about how adaptable he's been for Argentina, but for Brighton, he's actually shown he can adapt and play in any position in midfield. So for us, if we are going to purchase him, that's going to be a plus point. He's got international experience, and he's also used to the Premiership as well. So it's a win-win, and he's a good age as well. Us purchasing him. So I think it would be a good purchase for us.
Preds?
I think I agree with Stoney in regards to he knows the Premiership. He's done really, really well, and by the way, not only he's done well, but Brighton has done well. So it might have gone hand in hand. Still a bit. I know he's a World Cup winner, but ultimately, he's. I've still got to have a few more games, watch him in a few more games, and to have a real good idea. Because the only times I've seen him is when Liverpool's played against them. I've not really gone out my way to do the research. But listen, if anyone, I've got to be honest, if a player is able to be in a side that's won the World Cup and he played all the games and he's an integral part of Brighton, then he must have some good qualities that Liverpool are after. He has legs. He's quite clever. He's intelligent, tactically intelligent as well. So if it happens, so be it. As long as he's got to hit the ground running.
You're right, and I think the one advantage as well is he's a fraction of the price of the other Argentinian that won the World Cup that Chelsea bought. So at least then we're making a saving between him and Enzo. Sorry, Billy. So that's a plus point for us.
Shots fired. Yep, shots fired.
That was wonderfully articulated, Stoney.
What was I going to say? I see, Stoney. You made me forget what I was going to say there and be laughing. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I don't know one Liverpool fan who has been jumping up and over the moon at this signing. Everyone's been like, yeah, okay, all right, yeah, all right, yeah, all right. You get them players that you're like, yes.
Because I think it may be. I think even though it was initially mentioned, I think most Liverpool players, we resigned to the fact that the young gentleman at Borussia Dortmund is never ever going to be coming now. So any other midfielder that we purchase is just like, okay, then, all right, that's fine. Whereas I think if it was that guy, then I think we'd have been a bit more happy. So I think it's going to be one of those things.
Okay, so Nick Force says, with Kone and Thuram, teams won't be walking through our midfield like most of the season. They actually protect the defense. Hopefully, Endo will get limited game time. As we've spoken about, Van der Ven, it's very good centre-back, 6'4" and rapid. I live in Cologne, Germany, and I've seen him a few times. He'll fit right in. Oh, interesting.
Nice.
Billy says, Enzo clear of McAllister.
Hello to Nick Ford from Cologne. Wow, boom. We got international voice.
He's also played left back as well.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Dankeschön for the information. By the way. Chris Welsh, even as hope you're well, Liverpool fan myself. My main team is Carlisle, who got promoted to League One. Liverpool, my second team, so I've had some joy this season.
Yeah, congratulations to Carlisle. Welcome
on board, Chris Welsh. Nice to have you on board, mate. Do remember, like, share, and subscribe. Always nice to have new members, mate. What's he saying about he's available for only 34 mil?
Okay.
Sounds like a bit of a no-brainer, to be fair.
Yeah, there's some decent dark bargains out there, and I think with that new we've got that new what do they call him, sporting director or
Yeah,
you know, who's meant to be
on a short-term contract.
Yeah, yeah. Well, apparently he's meant to be this kind of transfer guru, and he doesn't muck about. He knows good players. He's got a good pedigree, so
he's got 3 months to prove himself, man. 3 months to prove himself, so get it done. Oh, was he saying it for kind problem, Grumple? Oh, no problem. Yeah, man. No worries. No worries. We need 3 midfielders, not one of our midfielder been acting like red carpet security guards this season, letting everyone through.
There's been some comments on this. There's been comments on this show.
Where have you
That's
been?
brilliant. That is brilliant.
Oh my days. He ain't wrong though. He ain't wrong. He ain't
wrong at all, mate.
That's why I say we need 3, to be honest. Because if they're going to be doing that kind of running that Klopp demands, man, putting in that work, we need
exactly. I've got one here. Good evening and welcome to the show, Chris. You mentioned that you support is it Carlisle United? So Carlisle's been promoted, and obviously one of the things that we've mentioned this season on KopTalk is about the need for us to obviously purchase more midfielders. It's mentioned who we've been linked with at the moment. Kone, we just mentioned about Tadam as well. Do you think Owen Moxon is capable of playing for us, Chris? Chris is going to know exactly who I'm talking about for Carlisle. Put it in a comment, Chris. Do you think young Owen Moxon from Carlisle's capable of playing for Liverpool? I'd love to hear your thoughts. He's a nice little tidy central midfielder.
Okay. Thoughts on Luton getting to Prem football? Imagine going through someone's back garden to go to watch Liverpool next season.
I'll tell you what, right? I don't know. Have you played at Kenilworth Road? Have you played? You've been there?
No, I've been there, but I haven't played there.
Well, you played on there, mate. It is it's nuts. It's like the supporters. Not that they would, but it's like the supporters can just literally come and grab you, mate. It's like so close to the ground, all right? And then you got your dugouts, and on top of the dugouts, you got the executive boxes. And like Chris has said, if you go at one of the main stands, you go up the stands, and you can see people on a summer's day. You can see people in the back gardens jumping on their trampolines. I think it's great, and it's the love of football, mate. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
My only good thing about it is it's not too far for me to go and watch a game when Liverpool come to town.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's one.
Do you know what would be amazing?
Yeah.
Some of the players that are probably used to playing, at the large Premiership stadiums. So can you imagine, the likes of Salah going down to Kenilworth Road, or Fabinho or Van Dijk going down it? For them, that's probably going to be a culture shock as well, mate. So it's brilliant. It's going to be good to see how away teams can actually play going down there as well. Yeah. I think that's going to be good.
Do you think that they're going to be able to play at Kenilworth? I mean, what's the capacity? The capacity
10,000.
10,000.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if something come out in the next few weeks where they're going to say they're going to be ground sharing, because
I hope not.
I hope not. I really don't. I'm nostalgic with regards to football, and I think that's a great story. Luton's story is magnificent anyway.
Yep. Do you think that do they need to be doing something to bring their ground up to Premier levels, though? Premier standards?
Well, they said they only need 10,000. Yeah, they said they need £10,000 just for modernisation. So at the moment, the ground.
Is that all 10 grand?
There must be paint that they're going to put up there, right? So the thing is, listen to this.
I better put in a big contract.
The ground meets Premiership. What is that word? It's worthy of Premiership standards.
Ground grading.
So for them, I don't envisage them actually spending a lot of money. And the reason being is I think they've already got planning permission for the new stadium, which is going to cost them 100 mil. So they're not going to be doing anything, untowards to modernize it. And for them, even if they are unsuccessful remaining in the Premiership, the money that they've got for getting promoted and a parachute payments is going to allow their club to obviously flourish with a new stadium and also provide some new finance to Luton Town within itself, obviously the community. So I'm glad they're up.
Yeah,
I don't want them to be whooping boys, but I'm glad they're up. It's going to be a nice little twist here.
But it's a great story. They were in the Championship. They went on hard times. I remember playing against them in the conference. And for me, like I think I was in my 30s when I went to play there for the first time. Okay. And I was like a little boy because I was like, wow, this is like because you've grown up with, remember Luton Town with the plastic
Ricky Hill on the
Ricky Hill,
come on,
the Steen brothers. Yeah, come on, man. Like, so it was just like it was nostalgia for me. And the ground is just like it's old school, but it's gonna be wonderful, mate. I could just see him. Like I can't imagine. I'm gonna have to imagine Klopp standing there. And literally, he turns around and there's an executive box right in front of him. Mate, it's brilliant. It's unbelievable.
Okay, so Chris Ross says, talking about Mr. Moxon, he's one of Carlisle's own, so it's a hard one. I want him to stay at Carlisle, as he's Carlisle lad, but Liverpool need midfielders.
I knew Chris was going to say that. That's why I threw Owen in there. I knew that would get you tickling there.
Let's not sign another cater, please. We got enough NHS hospital bed models at the club. I'm glad he's gone. Biggest waste of time ever at LFC. I'm brutal and harsh, but I don't care. That's me.
No, honest opinion. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I agree with your opinion totally.
And Billy says, the good old saying, can you do it on a cold night in Stoke has changed. Can you do it on someone's back garden in Luton?
I'm telling you, right? There's going to be
there's
going to be a few teams. They're going to have a culture shock, and there're going to be a few teams going to slip up if they don't come. If they don't come correct, not just the facilities that Luton have, the team are actually really good. And they don't, And again, I think they could be if they might actually be following like the Brentford model. Right. I think if they can kind of solidify their first season, I think they might go down that model. But I've got friends in Luton. And they was overjoyed of it, and it was a great night in Luton Town, I should imagine. So all strength for him, mate. Brilliant.
Nice one, Chris. He's just subscribed to the channel. That's the way forward, mate. Now just remember to like and share. Yeah, don't forget to share as well. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Moxon not Premier League level, unfortunately. Championship is his level, in my opinion. How old is he?
25.
Okay.
It's 25. Yeah.
Big shouts to you, Billy boy. Big shouts to you, mate. You're into the same territory as Brighton and Brentford.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. It remains to be seen. We'll see if they can stay up next season.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, what we will be doing going forward, as we are no more football, as I was telling Stoney earlier, man, it's that depressing time now where there's no match of the day to look forward to. You know what I mean? Walking around, get upset, kick the cat because you're peed off.
Oh God, you're gonna be doing a Zuma, are ya?
Yeah, I'm telling you. Hey, have you not seen that clip when he got injured and he was walking past the fans and the physios and that were carrying him?
No,
and the fans were singing, "That's how your cat feels."
Oh
That's
my God, that's bad, man.
Hey, absolutely brilliant. I was in tears. Absolutely brilliant, mate. So what we will be doing, because Cop Talk will still be running. Do not worry about that. You will still get your weekly dose of Cop Talk. So what I'm going to make you lot prepared from now, because you said you always want a heads up, Preds, all right? So I'll give you the heads up from now. What we will be doing next week, the first one we'll be talking about, I think I'm going to think about, it's going to be 3 or 4 Liverpool's top goalies, and we will be discussing who we think was number 1 goalkeeper. But see, what I have to be careful as well, because it depends on what we got on the show. I can only go back like 10 years or so, Because sometimes you start talking about people like Ray Kempson, people are like, who's that?
Yes,
I never
Yeah.
saw him play. You know what I mean?
We can go back as far as we need to, because remember, football
Right.
didn't start in the Premiership.
Right.
Yeah,
Fine.
exactly.
Well, this is what
Exactly.
I say. But you know, when we've got some people on it, they're like, well, or I weren't even born yet.
But you're right, Artie, and you know the other side of it, which is really good. We're all historians. We actually love our club, and sometimes it's good, to enter that area of being nostalgic as well.
Of
So
course.
yeah, that sounds a really good idea.
We will
actually,
start
what
with
you're doing.
goalkeepers, and then the week after that, we will go right back, left backs, defenders, centre halves, midfielders. We're going to pick like 4.
Nice.
What I think is a top 4. And if you got somebody you think who should be in that list, let me know. We'll add it to the list, and we'll have 3 or 4, and that's what we'll be discussing going through, plus transfers, obviously, going through the summer to keep us all entertained. Yeah. So do not worry about that. We got lots going on for you lot.
I think we've got to do. I think we've got to do a dream team as well, mate. An ultimate dream team as well.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, by the time we've picked everybody, that will be the ultimate dream team.
It's true.
Yeah, true. She's true.
By the time we finish,
but then we've got to do due diligence because we're picking 4 for every position.
No,
so
but what we're going to do is at the end of the show, we'll have one of who we think's come out number 1.
Oh, I can see where you're going. See,
Yeah.
this is why he gets paid the big bucks, ladies and gentlemen. This is why, right? He's the man in the top corner.
We're going to pick 1, and I'm going to be making notes about them all. So we put them down position by position, and at the end, we'll say, "Yeah, well, this is the 11 that we've come up with." And the rest, some of the others who we maybe can't agree with, they might just go on a subs bench. They can be subs.
Yeah.
Let's hope Liverpool defense improves, because going on this season, I wouldn't trust them to defend the piece of paper with my banking pin number on it.
True.
Chris, I'm telling you, I like a bit of Chris. Chris says definitely not Mingale. Yeah, he weren't making my list, mate. Or Carrius, don't worry about that. Me and Carrius were not making my list. Across the pond, sports, all of Chris Welsh, Carlisle United, Liverpool after Man U, Corone, McAllister, Kieran Turam. Really like nice FC.
Nice.
Which ones are you gonna get? Or you grab that midfield?
Did he say nice FC? Did you just say nice FC?
Nice FC.
I think what he was saying was that's who Tottenham plays for, innit? I think that's why he threw it in.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Oh, I like that. Listen, I like he's doing bits, mate. Chris is doing bits. I like that.
Nice.
Lovely.
Across the pond, is that across the pond? Across the pond.
Motaz Mohammed. Nice one, mate. Nice to have you on board. He's saying, let's sell Salah. We need to rebuild. Ooh, it's a bit of a controversial one there, mate. I think
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, because he was once again, he's come out top goal scorer again. He's come out smelling the roses again.
Yeah, but he's also come out of a very cryptic Twitter message.
Thank you. Klopp didn't like that.
No, and I didn't like it either.
Oh, what about us not that we weren't good enough getting Europa League? Not happy with it.
Yeah, like it's bare minimum that we should be in the Premier. Now I see what he's saying, and he's absolutely right. Players didn't play good enough, and we should be by bare minimum in the Champions League. But it seems like it's like, well, I done my part. I scored all my goals. It's everyone else who's messed up, and that's the kind of feeling I got from that. And it's kind of like he's kind of chucking out the feelers. I don't want to be playing Europa. I want to be playing Champions League. Yeah. And I think there was a few hidden messages within that one statement.
Yeah, you're right.
Can you blame a player of his ilk wanting to play in the Champions League?
No,
not at all. But if there's a right way and wrong way, and for me, I just think that there's a couple of underlining messages in there, and it's end of the day, like you're part of the team that didn't qualify for the Champions League. So for me, I'd rather him just say, look, we weren't good enough. We'll try better next season. Done. Yeah, he's trying to absolve himself from a team that didn't qualify for the Champions League. I only want to play in the Champions League. Well, hold on, mate. You were part of a team that didn't qualify, and now you want to jump ship to go to a team that is in the Champions League, and that's how I'm taking it. And yeah.
So all right, then. So what are you saying? Would you sell him then?
I think if there was a figure that was put in front of the board that they couldn't turn down, then yeah.
Yes, since take it.
We
Ronaldo,
recovered from. We've sold players before.
Yeah.
We've recovered.
Yeah. If the project is no longer for him, Ronaldo's gone to Saudi. It makes a nice money to Saudi to make some nice money. Salah, if the right price is right, take it. I mean, we don't know what's happening at Paris Saint-Germain. Messi may be leaving to go back to Barcelona. Paris Saint-Germain may be
He might be getting Saudi as well.
Yeah, and just take the package. So look, like if anything else, if the package, I mean, if the project is no longer suited for Salah, move on. If it is, just make it be clean. Don't let it be drawn out. Get the figures right, and he moves on. Enemies continue. Listen, it may mean that Salah moves on, and Carvalho has a chance to play right forward. You know, I'm just scraping the barrel here.
Or we get some funds for Jude Bellingham.
Scraping the barrel here, so anything could happen.
We free up some funds for Jude Bellingham, man. What's wrong with you? Get him what? Get 60 million for Salah. Get that 350 grand off the wage bill a week. Hey, that's some Jude Bellingham there, right there.
Jude's already gone Madrid, man. So
nothing ain't signed yet. Yeah, nothing ain't signed yet.
True.
We missed midfield. A midfielder with legs. Ronaldo was so underrated for us. Energy, workhorse. Wins the ball back. While this season they act like Michelle Keegan walks on the pitch. This guy's killing me. I'm telling you.
He's full of his little thingy.
Okay, I stream FCN Sports through Arsenal Armory and TV and my channel across the pond. But over here, most dudes around me and yourselves are Liverpool fans. That's right. Nice. They got sense, mate.
Nice.
I think you have two great strikers for future now in Gakpo and Nunes. You got wingers too, Salah, Jota, Carvalho, Diaz, super baller. Just focus on mids. Yep, too right, mate. Too right. You do know we need a defender midfielders. No more attackers, please. It's giving me a headache. Signing these attackers is like having no control of a racehorse as it goes smashing in the hurdle. Needs to jump. He's got some analogies, man. I'll tell you. Bayern selling Gnabry, Sane, and Mane.
Is it? I didn't realize Gnabry was going anywhere.
Well, that's what one of these guys are just putting there as well. So,
Okay.
I think we're after Ryan Gravenbach as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
But haven't they only just purchased him? Didn't they just purchase him last season?
Yeah. They purchased him last season. He hasn't quite done enough to play in their team. He hasn't done enough. And maybe it might be that first season. Who knows? But
it's another one. It's meant to be another one for a decent price as well. So it's another one to look into. Okay.
Brilliant.
So, peoples, do remember next week. And if you lot are in the comments there, if you lot have got anybody you want to be added to those lists, so do remember next week we start off our fabulous 11. Okay, we'll be starting with goalkeepers. We're going to pick 3 or 4, and that's what we'll be discussing on the show. And then we're going to pick one out of those 3 or 4, and that's going to go down on a piece of paper, and that will be our goalkeeper. But we'll say, yeah, been the best for Liverpool. So if you've got any ideas you want to add to that list, but feel free, lads, send them in, man. No worries, man. Send them in. We'll have them as well.
And lasses. Let's be
yeah. Lads and lasses. Yeah, maybe I'd be saying something else then, but I'm afraid it's all right. Gravenbach is a baller, but I never played him much. He is quality. Okay. We'll see. We will see. Right, my peoples. Thank you very much for joining us. Preds, it's been a pleasure, mate.
Always a pleasure, never a chore.
Lovely. Stoney, it's been a blast, my brother, once again.
Yeah, thanks. It's just really good have the opportunity to really speak about the season winding down. Really nice that we've got new people obviously coming on, subscribing, liking, and sharing the content of Cop Talk. And we look forward to seeing all of you guys next week as well. So thanks, RT.
Yeah, so do remember, man, it's all about Cop Talk each and every Thursday from the hours of 10 o'clock. So do like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. And yet we will definitely be back next week, Thursday. Okay? Thank you very much, people, for joining us. We out. Peace.
Peace.